World's most famous horror series, Conjuring, begins with the 18th century farmhouse in Rhode Island, where Roger and Carolyn Perron, Lily Taylor and Ron Livingston, and their 5 daughters were allegedly haunted and possessed by spirits. Ed Warren might have passed in 2006, but Lorraine was a consultant on the film and is still a paranormal investigator. She insists that many of the movie's freaky moments actually went down, but trust me, the real story behind The Conjuring, with the Perron family and the Enfield haunting, is way scarier than the movies themselves. In 1971, The Conjuring follows the Perron family, parents Roger and Carolyn and their kids Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. In start, mildly creepy stuff quickly turns into a nightmare as they realize they're haunted by the evil Bathsheba Sherman, a witch from the 19th century. The Conjuring definitely takes some creative liberties with the real facts of the case, including the experiences of the investigating Warrens and the Perrons. Still, some interesting and sinister grains of truth run through both the 2013 movie and the eerie source material that inspired it. In The Conjuring, Ed and Lorraine enter the story as fully established paranormal investigators. Before the main events kick off, the Warrens are shown handling another creepy case involving a cursed doll and the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins, which later inspired the Annabelle spin-off movies. This gives a glimpse into the Warrens' background, but doesn't do justice to the full extent of their experience and expertise in the paranormal world. Long before the events of The Conjuring in 1971, the Warrens founded the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952, when both Ed and Lorraine were in their mid-20s. This kicked off their involvement in countless bizarre occult events, including the infamous Amityville haunting, the Snedeker haunting in the 1980s, and the Enfield poltergeist, which inspired The Conjuring 2. Over their careers, the Warrens claim to have investigated over 10,000 paranormal cases, including the eerie happenings at the Perron family home. The Conjuring's Perron family was based on a real family from Harrisville, Rhode Island. Just as shown in The Conjuring, the real Perron family did indeed move into an old farmhouse in Rhode Island before experiencing what they claimed were sinister and terrifying paranormal phenomena. The film mirrors the family's dynamic, with the real Perrons also having 5 daughters. However, The Conjuring made some significant alterations to the house at the center of the story. According to fact-checkers History vs. Hollywood, the movie recreated a version of the farmhouse on a soundstage in North Carolina. The real Perron house, still standing today in Harrisville, looks very different and doesn't have the impressive multi-story frontage. Local news channel NBC Doujar, via Hollywood vs. History, reports that the house has a long history of macabre occurrences. As outlined in the town's former public records book, the so-called Black Book of Burrowville, historic tragedies at the Warren home include 2 suicides by hanging, 1 suicide by poison, the rape and murder of 11-year-old Prudence Arnold by a farmhand, 2 drownings, the passing of 4 men who froze to death. While these events aren't proof of paranormal activity, they do show that the backstory in The Conjuring is rooted in fact, whether or not the supernatural aspect of the story is believable. Unlike the events depicted in The Conjuring, the Perron family's experience was drawn out over a protracted period. Although the movie suggests that the haunting was both incredibly intense and somewhat brief, the true story is that the family remained in the house for 9 years between 1971 and 1980, eventually selling it to new owners at the first opportunity following financial troubles. Many of the events shown in the film were exaggerated for dramatic effect. However, the Perrons themselves have been extremely forthcoming about the strange events they experienced. For example, in an interview with USA Today around the time of The Conjuring's theatrical release, the oldest Perron daughter, Andrea, revealed that the family avoided the basement like the plague. The only exception was when the heating would fail, forcing Roger to go down there for repairs. While in the basement, he would feel this cold, stinking presence beside him. According to Andrea, other freaky events included an exorcism on Carolyn Perron, just like in the movie, beds levitating at night, sinister whispers, and random appearances of the stench of rotting flesh. These experiences mirror the dramatic and terrifying events depicted in The Conjuring. However, the Perrons' experience wasn't limited to these more theatrical happenings. According to All That's Interesting, every member of the family began to see spirits, including many that were completely harmless. The more benign paranormal activity included the sound of something scraping against the kettle in the kitchen, or small piles of dirt in the center of a newly cleaned kitchen floor. Yet, while these events were somewhat innocent, others were much more sinister, especially those centered around a spirit called Bathsheba. Who was Bathsheba Sherman? The Conjuring's evil spirit explained. In The Conjuring, Bathsheba is portrayed as the main antagonist, depicted as a witch who conducted child sacrifices, including stabbing her own baby and declaring her love for the devil. However, the true story is more nuanced. While the real Bathsheba Sherman did live on the Perrons' farm in the 1800s and was rumored to be involved in witchcraft, these allegations were never proven. There was no trial, and many of the more sensational details provided in The Conjuring were fabricated for the movie. Nevertheless, the Perrons themselves believe in Bathsheba's sinister motivations. In her book, House of Darkness, House of Light, based on the family's experiences, Andrea claimed that Bathsheba was always the creepiest presence in the house. She told USA Today, "Whoever the spirit was, she saw herself as the boss of the house and didn't like my mom challenging her position." While Bathsheba Sherman's rumored witchy past adds a chilling layer to her character, the Perrons' accounts make her seem even more sinister. The extent to which Ed and Lorraine helped the Perron family is a matter of ongoing debate. Just like in the movie, the Warrens made several visits to the family home, though these occurred over an extended period. Similarly, as depicted in The Conjuring's chilling finale, the Warrens were said to have been involved in an incident where Carolyn appeared to be possessed, an event witnessed by Andrea. As she recounted, "There's no doubt that the Warrens were deeply involved in the events at the Perron house. However, the extent to which their involvement can be considered helpful is up for debate." The paranormal activity persisted until the family eventually moved out, and according to reporting by All That's Interesting, Roger Perron actually kicked the investigators out after Carolyn's possession. Despite these conflicts, The Conjuring was made with the approval of both Lorraine Warren and the Perron family, underscoring their shared experience. And that's the chilling real-life tale behind the movie The Conjuring, a haunting reminder that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are true. If you have liked the video, please show some love, like, share, and subscribe for more real-life thrillers.